on Smash USA. Here with Thiago and also Lucas. Welcome in, guys.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Thiago Correa, and today we have a special guest. Our special guest is Lukas Correa. I'll talk a little bit about him and his background. He's the co-founder of Cambridge Active Consulting. Cambridge Active Consulting is a digital marketing agency headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, with a focus on creative excellence and purpose-driven advertising. Before co-founding Cambridge Active Consulting, Lukas was a creative director at Amastical. Welcome, Lukas.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, today's gonna be special because Lucas are gonna tell us about his entrepreneurial journey, about the connection that he have with us, Gimbal, and also on Smash. So let's start, right? So Lucas, tell us about your purpose. How are you building that inside your career?
The purpose of the company?
Yes.
Or
Cambridge Equity Consulting.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more.
So basically what we do is paid digital advertising. So anything from Facebook ads, running Google PPC campaigns, TikTok advertisements, UGC content. Anything like that is really under our realm. We do newsletters, SMS, and we mostly focus on e-commerce companies, so selling online.
Awesome. One thing that I love about entrepreneurship is kind of the journey. And when it comes from an idea, and then when it actually gets to kind of a company or a business that you actually want to move forward.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about your story and how kind of you started Cambridge Equity Consulting. Can you tell us about how did you start, what is the initial idea, and how it progressed to kind of a stage that you guys thought this is what we want to move forward and actually be our company?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, me and my co-founder, Drew, we have the company, and we went through a lot of iterations. So in the beginning, like you said, I was the creative director for Amastical. He's a big YouTuber. And what happened basically was once me and Drew, we wanted to start a consulting company for influencers, because I saw kind of firsthand what it was like in the operations of the company and influencers. I saw kind of how they ran their business, and I thought there's things here that can be improved, and there's insights that I got into how it runs. And I thought, we're young. I'm 22, about to turn 23. So it's really a market that hasn't really been established, and then almost like in a managerial role, but not like you're not going to have to sign with us. We come in and we help. And that's how it started. And from there, we just try to make things work. And we shifted the company a lot. I think we went through 5 different businesses, really. We did that. Drop shipping. We did, we wanted to manage social medias for restaurants, everything. So, and then one of the things we did was paid advertising. And that's kind of what kicked it off and really worked for us. And that's what we came with.
Awesome.
That's great. And when you work with a friend, it's always fun, right? So I have a Giovanna and also Thiago. We have the busy work, the routine and everything. But when is with a friend, you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You have some moments that you can be yourself. You don't need to put the position I'm here in a business meeting or something. Yeah. And can you tell us more about the routine, the meetings and all, the day one,
If I can just add to that, because I do feel like when you have a co-founder, it's a different dynamic and it's a long journey, and you want to have that person that sometimes you have a bad day and they have a great day and they kind of motivate you on that.
Yeah.
The other part, which I love to hear, is I do believe that the combination of complementary skill sets in a co-founding team is very important. You cannot always have the same skill set and the same thing, because then you just don't add value. So can you talk a little about that, about this journey, kind of how it is interacting with somebody that you can move along in this long journey and tough journey a lot of times, but also with complementary skill sets?
Yeah. So with the complementary skill sets, it really helps because I'm a little more of the creative end, and I handle sort of anything we do, the aesthetics of it, really just driving the creative process. And he's a little more in the numbers and the business end. And, you know, that works together well in a few different ways. So one, for example, paid advertising. There's two parts of paid advertising. And one is the actual strategies and the format that you implement. So, you know, what audience do we want to target? What kind of campaign should we run? Do we want to run lookalike audiences? Do we want to reach out to cold audiences? Managing the numbers. Does this look good? What do we need to change? What can be improved here? And then the other part is the creatives. So it's the image. What is the video? How's the video going to look? How are we going to connect to this audience? What is the copy? What is it going to say? What's the overall strategy? That works well there. And, you know, and other things. If we were sort of, one of the things we tried was drop shipping. So if we were to open an e-commerce store, I'm more so looking at the website, designing the website, making sure it looks appealing. How are the other big people in the niche doing? And really just putting the images in the design. And he's more contacting suppliers. So where can we get how can this come in? You know, what are the dates going to look like? And we both do a little bit of both. I mean, he overviews the design, but it's good too. So just to split up the work. Yeah, but in regards to the way we work, it's very informal. You know, we've known each other for a while, so I kind of know him, he knows me, we know how each other work. There's a lot of joking around, it's a lot of fun, and it just helps in so many ways. I think one, you sort of build a trust. So you know that you can sort of trust the competence in the other person, and you know that you can, whatever they say, you can kind of go with it. And it builds confidence in that. Because if I have an idea and I'm alone, I'm questioning it, you know, like a week later, I'm like, is this right? Like, what is going on here? But if I say something and he affirms it and he goes, yeah, I think that's right, there's no more question. We just go with it. And then the other thing is just it keeps you accountable. So I'm waking up, I'm showing up every day because someone's counting on me. Someone has to, you know.
I have a team.
Yeah, even if I wake up and I'm furious and I want to call him and say like I'm not coming in, and then I'm like I can't believe I scheduled a meeting with this guy this early. I'm still gonna show up, and you know that might not be the case if I'm doing it alone.
Yeah, that's real.
So tell us about your target audience. Who's your target audience? Who kind of you guys going after? A little bit of your sales strategy.
Yeah, so we work with e-commerce companies. That's basically it. I really like doing high ticket items. So jewelry, watches, anything in that kind of realm. I think it's more beneficial because you work off a percentage basis. And so the returns on that are higher, and then so the more you sell, the more profit comes in. I just think it's a better strategy.
Awesome.
And I think when you are working in your own business, you have the freedom. I think all of the thing is we have the freedom to build whatever we want on the side, like and also you have the freedom to choose where you're gonna be. Like, can you tell us more about that? Like,
I love the freedom that comes with or just having your own thing, and having control over where it goes, being able to work from anywhere. I think it's amazing. You kind of make your own hours. I mean, you end up working more, but at least it's the more that you want. I was on the phone with him the other night, a co-founder. We were talking about this last night. It's also compounding. I think we talked about this before. It's compounding. So I think when you're in a company, you know, you work for 5 years. You don't own the work you do. So in the end of the 5 years, you look back and you're like, okay, there's nothing to hold, like what all my work has amounted to. It's all in the company. You don't own it. It's like a vacuum. It goes in there. And you can look at that. Really all you have is the money that you made from it. And I think with entrepreneurship, you can sort of have your cake and eat it too, to where you have the money that you got from it, and also the company's a physical thing. It's like being a painter and never getting to see your paintings. They're all out in the world, and people are like, oh, let me see your work, and you have nothing like to show for it.
In the corporate world, right? That's a great perspective on both, like the hours, like there is no day hours. Saturday could be a work day, Monday could be a day that you're taking off a little bit more of the day because you have something to solve, and that freedom is kind of amazing. In the compounding aspect and the tangibility of your effort and creating something, I think once somebody experienced that, and different from you both, like I had 20 years of corporate experience before. So I had a frame of reference, which makes me more passionate about this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Much more nerve-wracking, much more uncertain, because you have the full responsibility of your own paycheck and your survival and everything that you have to do. But I think and also the upside, if it works really well, it's everything is for you and your founders and your partner is your company, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like just the feeling, you just literally, if you're doing what you're passionate about and you love the work you're doing, you have hit the lottery, because you're going to spend the majority of the time, regardless what you decide to do for work, in working in that environment.
Yeah.
And if you just don't love it, you're going to spend the rest of your life doing something you don't love.
Yeah.
So I love that those points about that.
And you can learn a lot. You can have new skills that you don't even know. Like if it was like for me, for example, I was in sales and I have like all the sales skill set to help me. But when I am the owner, when I am the one that needs to schedule. I am the one that needs to go ahead and fix everything. I am the one that needs to be everything when you are starting. And then it's good for you because maybe you didn't know that you have a passion for something. Maybe you didn't know when you are in a corporative job or something, you have this is your position, you need to do that. And it's like, it's different.
100%. And you mentioned something which, like we have had this conversation a lot, which is the comparison between a formal education, like going to college, and then running your own business. And I went through the route, like going through formal education, going to college. I was raised like in Brazil, in a little bit older than you guys, so like it's a different time frame, and you had to go do your MBA and so on and so forth. My experience, even going to MBA, like you learn all this theory about marketing and operations and finance. Like it's great to know, to have the knowledge. But there's so much focus on that and so little applicability or experience. And then when you have your own business, because you have to do it all, you learn on the job, and it's such a rewarding learning. It's so much more deeper because you have a purpose behind it. It's not like somebody's like on the screen. At least that's my experience. And I apologize for anybody that loves education, like a formal education. But for me, like if you really want to learn business, like if you're going to spend, and we had this conversation, I feel like if you're going to spend all this money on an MBA, if you just spend this money kind of on a startup and running your business, like you're gonna have, for me, 100 times better kind of.
I think there's two things. I have two things with that. One is I kind of like the processes. I kind of like the formality of it. I kind of like step 1, step 2, step 3. I kind of like the structure and just what that is. And I think it's good that I like that, and I'm in entrepreneurship too, because it's sort of something that I can provide myself. So it's something that I think maybe if I was too loose and I'm in entrepreneurship, it might just I wouldn't know where to go, and I wouldn't. It might be too. Maybe I couldn't handle it. So the fact that it kind of balances out, I think it's good, and I find myself trying to create my own processes, and the way things are done. And then the second thing, which is kind of related, I also think it can be limiting in terms of once there's a set structure and you learn a certain thing, you think it has to be the way. And I've been thinking about, I think there's like old ways to do business and new ways to do business. Like now I think about it, and I think like entrepreneurship, like I kind of feel like you're just kind of like there's different ways to do it, but I feel like I'm just kind of like a hustler, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm just
100%. You have to.
Like if I'm doing a makeup company and I go to someone, like if I'm in the 70s, I want to start a makeup company. The guy's like, you're going to need makeup, something to sell. You're going to need somewhere to sell, so put it in stores. You're going to need to take out advertisements. You're going to need a brand, a logo, a design. You're going to need all these things. Startup costs maybe $50,000. And I think, okay, now I need $50,000. Or I go to someone, oh, I have this makeup. Okay, what's good about it? Well, it's new because of this, and this is why you should invest. Now, if I'm doing a makeup company, I need I need a website so people can buy, which takes an hour, really. And I put out ads saying, I have a makeup company, come buy stuff. And then I know a supplier that maybe can send out when someone buys, but I don't need to buy any. So for like $100 startup cost or whatever I'm spending on the ads, it's like and then some people buy, and then like I get the money, and then I send them the makeup, and then I start worrying about branding, and I start worrying about these other things.
You can start.
Yeah, there's a way.
Like all this, you can start.
Yeah.
And see.
So I think that kind of thinking, and even the ability to have those kind of thinking, it's not really incentivized in places like schools and processes.
100%.
And that's the thing, because today it's easier to start.
Yes.
But to make this like this business or this brand to be unique, you need to have a purpose, like a big purpose that will make you different from the others. Because there's a lot of makeup brands, there's a lot of, if you have a big purpose that drives you inside this journey, the format will be on the way. But the thing that you will bring to us, it's easier to start.
Yes.
It's easier. You have all the tools, AI tools, a lot of marketing tools that you can use. But if you do not have the right strategy for all the ways in your business, even if you are like just starting, if you do not have the right strategy, you're going to waste money, time, and then it's difficult to have results.
100%.
Results with purpose. Both of them.
Because I completely agree with that. And that when I think of what you're saying, it is very different. It's much easier to start now than it was in the past. And all the tools are available. And probably you're not learning about them in school. That's why a young and it takes longer for you to make it a material that you can teach as a theory. Then the technology is evolving constantly, and you always have to adapt. But there are a few things that I think are the same thing that was like in the 70s, which are now, which is one, you cannot take the hustle away. Nobody will start and it's going to be just easy and and it's going to happen. You're going to have to be hustling for a long, sustainable period of time to make that brand something that's going to, unless there might be a story here and there of there was somebody that just hit the lottery in something they did.
But the reality?
But that's the exception of the exception. That's not the rule. So I think the hustling part is this part. And then what we always bring, which I do believe as well, and great entrepreneurs always thought about this, is the purpose-driven and loving what you're doing, because you're going to have to hustle so much for such a sustainable period of time that if you just love the process, it's probably you're going to give up at some point and settle. Because that's what most people that I meet in the corporate world, even in high positions, somehow they have settled for that. It's comfortable. Your paycheck gets paid every month. You have a kind of good benefits and so on and so forth.
What you want for life, for yourself, what you want how can I imagine myself in 10 years, in 5 years, and how can I imagine my company in 5 years, in 10 years, and what I'm doing right now to be over there.
And that's a great segue to that question for Lucas. It's how do you see Cambridge Equity Consulting in 5 or 10 years, or yourself as an entrepreneur in 5 or 10 years?
So, I think with Cambridge, if you're doing paid advertising as an ad agency, this goes back to a little bit of the new way of doing things and the old way of doing things. I wouldn't, the way that I see it running, and I think me and my business partner, we both sort of agree on this. We want to be very lean. So very few employees, just us, minimal overhead. like high paying clients, but not like a million clients that we can't handle. And so that project, no offices, nothing holding us down.
Remote.
And I think if you're gonna have that sort of model, there's a ceiling that you can't go past. It's not like you're building a big agency has 1,000 and you just keep growing. I think there's a ceiling with that. So with that, I think, until we get to the ceiling and approach a ceiling, I think once that happens, probably gonna take what we learned in our business, or even before it happens, while we're running, and just shift it into other avenues. Whether it's I like the idea of e-commerce. I like the idea of software as a service, a SaaS business. These kind of things, tech businesses, investing a little bit in others. So I think that's where it's going to go.
No, that's a great vision. It's a great vision and great insight. I think it's very mature for you at this stage to already kind of visualize like, okay, this works now, but I can see the setup that I want to create. There's limitations that are going to be with that. And then I can see other avenues and other paths of growth in this. Because that shows that you have the appetite to be a serial entrepreneur, which I love that.
And here in Atlanta Tech Village, we met a lot of startups, like people that are just starting, like they have the dream, they already start like you. And I think when you choose this journey, you will find the way. You will make it. Because you already choose. It's like a decision, that's inside you, and that I make a decision, and I will make this happen. I don't know how yet. I know so, but I will make it. Like I think that's the difference, the passion, and also in Gimbal, right, Thiago? Yeah. When we tell the people about paradise on earth, about a world of happy people that are really healthy, that are peaceful. That they have the prosperity on their lives. So for us, that's our purpose as Gimbal. And each one that we have met here in Atlanta Tech Village, and even you, they have the purpose inside. And that will be the thing that will put you in the position that I will not give up.
It is the purpose driven. It is the vision of what you can build. And most entrepreneurs that I meet around here, that they are happy. They are happy because maybe it's a self-selection if you're not kind of happy already in kind of. But I believe it has to do with the purpose-driven vision of building something, creating something yourself. Which maybe is in every human being. Like there's creativity, there's finance, there's business, everything that has to be connected and created.
And what is success? Success for me, it's one thing. For you, it's other. For when you know that, it's better for be happy.
And one thing, if I can just say that, because you're the guest, and I think I talk more than I should today, but I do believe that I kind of shared this story once. I met a person that did MBA with me. He went to be a co-founder in a startup during that time. And then I met him 10, 15 years later. He had exit and he was doing very well financially. He didn't have financial concerns anymore for the rest of his life. And he's a 40-something. So there's still a lot of energy, a lot of life around. And he was okay, what I'm going to do next? Because the purpose that he had while he was building his business, just like you are now, just like we are now, it's so exciting that even when you are successful, then all of a sudden it's okay, what is going to give me? I can travel for a year, I can do something, but what's going to give me that motivation? So even
to keep going,
to wake up on a Monday morning excited about what I'm going to do and having these plans. So I always try to take the perspective it's about the journey. We all want to get to the happy end there, which is what we envision, but it's about this journey and enjoy it even in the tough times. I don't know what's your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think I've heard fighters talk about that after fights, where they have these big fights and months leading up and they're training, and you have this sort of singular focused goal. And then they win the fight, but then they go home and then the fight's over, and they don't know I think that happens for sure. I've heard directors A lot of directors talk about you're done with the project, you're done with shooting, you worked 3 years on this movie, and what now? And then it's like, okay, another movie, but you need some time in between to sort of recollect. I think that happens. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just a human thing. I feel that after small things. After, I don't know, a certain, like a family gathering or a certain party or things or a place where you have all your friends. During it's a great time, but after it's, you're sort of, you're not left with anything. You just had the experience and then you have the memory.
Yeah, that's when you need Cambridge Active Consulting, because that keeps you.
What? Yeah. Well, now I don't feel it as much. Before I definitely felt it.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody that you love by yourself, like a friendship, and I think when you were telling me about the brotherhood that you have with your partner, I think that's a good thing, because when you have a brotherhood, something like that, and you are building that together, you have the strength to find other ways, even if it was not like the same way that you are doing right now. But I think that's a good thing, like
foundation, right? Because then it makes you stronger. We're gonna pursue and we're gonna prevail if you have that kind of connection. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think we have similar drives and similar goals too, and that really helps.
And that's what I think it's key, is those value-based kind of connections, even though you're different and complementary, because otherwise it might make the world very difficult. Because it's a marriage, so when you find a partner like this, you want to stick to them, because that's not something simple to find.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and finding someone who you feel like is going to push the same weight as you, finding someone. I think trust is a big thing. But trust to me is like two ways. Trust in the human being as a person. Trust just like, is this, like, I can trust that he's gonna do the right thing. Like I can give this guy my bank account information. I'm not gonna be this tonight checking like if anything happened. And also trust in competence, because someone can be a great person, but it's like, do I trust their decision making? Do I think they're thinking clearly? Do I think that can they really see the situation for what it is? And I think both of those things, I trust them 100%. So it's great.
So great. So Lucas, I think today was amazing talking to you, understand better about your business, about your career, and all of everything that you are building, and also the purpose, right? We talk a lot about purpose. It was amazing. I think all of us as a business owners, we have the same problem on the way, and listen about others. It's good for us for understand better and to be together, to talk about ideas, to do a partnership. So thank you for being here and to share with us everything.
Share your experience. Oh, you're gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say thank you for having me.
No, thank you for sharing the experience. Congratulations on kind of this journey starting so early, and still kind of. I think there's a long road ahead of you, but I think you're doing great, and much success and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See everybody. Bye bye.